What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Another edition, first 2025 edition.
Another year.
Another year, Holy Try Football Podcast. Me, AY, coming to you from the beautiful state capital, the red state, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. To my west, D-Berg, what's up?
Hope springs eternal for everyone for at least the next 6 days. Nope, not even. 5 days and 19 hours. There you go. I think by then we'll have one team eliminated.
Hopefully it's not my Cats who have
we won't actually.
the best home stadium, have the best reviews of any stadium in the country.
Yeah, we will not have it. We will not have it. It'll be longer than that. I would say by the time
approximately 5 minus 24, so 19. About.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't do the math.
Yeah, definitively, I would say 6 days and 2 hours from now. I think the loser of Sam Houston, Western Kentucky will be eliminated.
What if it's okay? I see.
Probably, yeah. Can to my east, what's up?
The longest was the second longest. We are the second longest that have been in this racket. Time-honored, trusted source in the audio space, the podcast space. It's blown up. Many imitators, never duplicated. We're back. The Holy Try Football Podcast. Often duplicated, never. Often imitated, never duplicated.
There it is. There it is.
That's it. Yeah, we're back for another year. Big year. Just coming off a big year last year. Big year.
Last year was our centennial, not centennial. What's a decade?
10th full season.
What?
Yeah, it was whatever our 10-year anniversary is. That's what it was.
10th full season was last year, I believe.
Our decathlete season.
Yeah.
There it is.
There it is.
Week 0 is upon us, but we will not be talking week 0 tonight. Tonight is the Holy Try preview. 3 teams. There's been, news for days, for months. We're not getting into that. We might not get into that next time because that's what the offseason was for. There's been some great things, some great content out there, but tonight is about the Holy Try teams and just a little.
We hope we're welcoming in some new listeners from one of the weddings. I know we got a shout out in one of them, and
that's right.
I heard a lot about how more people were going to tune in this season, coming off of that endorsement from one brother.
That's right. The backhanded brother provided at the wedding. Yes.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, it was good. Thank you for that, Pat. Yeah, so we got 3 teams tonight. Let's just get into it, and we'll see when the dust settles what else is on our minds. But this is pod 1 of the doubleheader for the week. Pod 2, which is going to be it's probably the most fun one of the year, is all about
48 hours away.
Season preview and predictions. And in my head, I've cooked up a bunch of questions for you guys. I think I'm going to put them to paper. We can do a little Sparty round with those.
In the hot seat.
Yeah, I have some thoughts I want to ask you guys your thoughts on as well. But we'll get to playoff, Heisman, flop, all that stuff in 48 hours. That'll be good. Ready for that. But tonight, our 3 teams, Dan has elected to go shotgun on this, so I will start us off.
I won the toss and elected to defer.
I will start us off with Notre Dame. Obviously, there's one giant elephant in the room that I am so sick and tired of hearing about. It's all people in the Notre Dame world talk about is the quarterback situation. Look, I get it.
Is it a real battle? That's what I keep hearing.
Honestly, no. I don't think anyone really knows. I think the fact that it's still going on, it has to be. What level of how did that battle come to be? Is it Minchie elevating his game? Is it Carr, who was perceived to be the favorite? But all this is just media talk. Like, we don't know if they're playing lights out or not. The media has had access to, I think, 5 practices. The first one in full for 2 hours back on the 31st. And then I think since then it was 4 20-minute sessions. So that's under 4 hours. And that's all they have to go on.
And what are they showing them in the?
And they cling to whatever they see in those practices and just regurgitate it a million different ways.
Buckner was warming up. I know that.
Buckner was, yeah.
Holding.
First-
He's holding also.
The first day they saw everything, and everything was all about, CJ Carr threw 3 picks, and then that was the headline. Then they went into it, and it was like, just a freak play by Tay Johnson. Receiver dropped the ball into a defender's hands. Like there's context to everything. But I mean, that one day, Carr didn't play well, and Minchie was better. That's pretty much all they have to go off of, because the other 20-minute periods they're seeing are just guys doing drills. They had a scrimmage last weekend with proper officials and all that. And they had a 100+ play camp-ending scrimmage today that there was zero access to. So they've run so many plays and situations and drills and this and that. No one has any clue besides, well, we don't know who the starter is. So we'll see. Who do I want? I don't care. 2.5 weeks ago, I thought it would be Carr's job. Boom, let's go. He hasn't won it, so maybe Minchie's playing well. Maybe neither are playing well. I don't know, but Freeman said today he will talk to the coaches and everyone. I'm sure they've been doing that for weeks now, obviously, but the final decision will come down to Marcus Freeman.
Does it sound like, or has there been indications of them playing both, especially given one is much more of a runner?
That's been floated. Every single angle has been talked about. That's been floated, and I'm of the belief that,
especially how much they leaned into the running last year, right?
I don't think Freeman would do that. I don't think he'd play both guys.
Really?
That's just me. Maybe he will.
Well, will he have? Do you think he'd do a bow package just to get the running in there, a Bo Prabula package?
He might. That might come into like some the short yardage stuff. That is one of the main questions this year. Is no Riley Leonard on 3rd and 2. So what are you going to do?
That's true.
That could be a Kenny Minchie package. I don't know. There's a lot of questions. Also, we'll circle back to that. Some more questions at the end because the quarterbacks are all of it. Everything else is pretty straightforward, cut and dry, simple. So let's speed through that. Running back room, Love and Price. Going to be returning kicks early on in the year. That'll be something new. Price did a few years ago. Aeneas Williams has been dinged up.
Anus.
Hurt his elbow, but he was back there tonight. Kedron Young tore his ACL, out for the year. And Nolan James, the true freshman, has been getting a lot of buzz in coaches and media circles as well. Receiving core, Jaden Greathouse, Will Paulding coming from Wisconsin, Malachi Fields from Virginia, Jordan Faison. That's your top 4. I think Fields is going to be I use this term lightly, the alpha in the room.
Not Greathouse.
I don't think so. But that being said, what's Fields going to catch? 44 passes? Greathouse maybe 42, Paulding 40. It's not going to be we're not LSU up here. We're not going to be slinging the ball around, especially now with who knows what quarterback. But Fields is going to be playing about how they've been mixing up so much. Fields is on boundary, but Greathouse in the slot. I don't know. Maybe depending on quarterback, maybe they'll prefer a different receiver. I don't know, but I think Fields is the best option there. Greathouse, he had 2 great games in the last year, but where was he the first? Besides Louisville, he didn't do anything all year. Maybe this is the year. Who knows? Fifth receiver. The 5th receiver is probably like the second most talked about, just because I guess they have nothing else to talk about at this point. It's going to be Micah Gilbert, Elijah Burris, or it's going to be one of those two. Gilbert or Elijah Burris. We'll see who cracks the rotation.
Son
Son of Plax. And then you got Jerome Bettis' kid in there too, but
Steelers all over.
not doing much. KK Smith, Scrap Richardson,
Pittsburgh West.
just a bunch of guys down there. Tight end room, Pittsburgh West. Tight end room, Eli Raridan's the guy this year, but behind that, Cooper Flanagan's out for most of the year. Kevin Bauman blew out his knee for the third time. He's now retired. James Flanagan, the true freshman, is going to be making his way in there. And Ty Washington from Arkansas has been slow to get up to speed, I've heard.
Too complicated.
I'm sure there's somebody else I'm forgetting in there, but we'll keep it moving. O-line, as McDonough says, Charles Jagusah is out for the first month, broke his arm in the offseason, arm or something up there.
ATVs, stay away from them. Been a bad offseason for Holy Tri.
Yeah. Apparently this one was with
and hometown heroes.
Apparently these ATVs were part of an event with local law enforcement. So yeah, it was like some
what was it? I think they were saying there was like a race up there or something like that.
I don't know for sure. I just know they're
like it's a bigger event.
They're up in Luke Talich country.
It wasn't purely recreational, you're saying?
It was not purely recreational. It was part of it, but yeah, it was
part of an event.
It was part of an event with with law enforcement. How does this happen? I don't know.
Oh god.
So Jagusah hurt again. Probably Notre Dame's best offensive lineman.
Durability issues.
Perhaps, yeah. And with 3 transfers out, Coogan, Spindler, and Pendleton, you're like, oh no, what's going on? No depth. Left tackle Anthony Knapp is back. Sophomore.
You'd love to have one of them now, wouldn't you? I heard that a month and a half ago.
It'd be nice to have them, yes, in the room, but they still wouldn't be starting. Because you got Knapp, Shrouth at left guard, Craig is back at center after that Purdue mess. Right guard was Jagusah. Now it was Sullivan Absher, but Gerby Lambert's back and healthy, who is probably the left tackle in waiting, or the best left tackle with Jagusah, but Anthony Knapp is there. So now Gerby Lambert's coming over to right guard, probably going to beat out Absher. And then right tackle was Emil Wagner.
What's that guy's name? Absher?
Sullivan Absher, yeah.
He needs to get sponsored by a Creasier.
He's like 6'8". He's a huge dude. So I feel really good with the line, even without Jagusah. D-line was a mess, I think, coming into the year, in the offseason at least, but this is just purely quantity over quality. There's just a bunch of guys on that D-line, and you just need them to either rotate and stay fresh or 1 or 2 pop, especially in the interior. Onye's back after missing last season with personal issues. Elijah Hughes, Jared Dawson transfers in from Louisville and USC. Donovan Heinisch, Gabe Rubio. So they have a bunch of guys that have played. Just got to hope someone take the next step. On the ends, Tui Alamaka, Burnham, Bryce Young, Boubacar Traore back from that Purdue game mess. He'll be on a snap count early the first few games. Jordan Botello, also hurt in the Purdue game, got hurt again. So durability issues perhaps with him. Sevillano to Saldate, a ton of bodies. Just so many bodies. So many bodies. I think they have like 8 to 10 good players. Maybe like 2 who Traore and Young on the ends who have a chance to be really good. But the other ones are just good quantity guys, which is fine. Yeah. Stay fresh, rotate, get your max effort out of them. So yeah, we'll see if Onye or somebody can step up there. Linebackers: Bowen, Kingston Mamasa, Jalen Sneed, Jaden Osbury. Those 4 are the clear top 4. And when in a 4-2-5 set, they'll be rotating a bunch. Preston Zender was a linebacker. He now is in D-line. KVA's been playing edge a little bit too. But you only have 2 guys out there at once. And Drake Bowen is the assumed new leader of the defense. But KVA is probably the best player, or will end up being And then the back end, Leonard Moore and Christian Gray,
Very
Adon
good.
Schuler. And then the other safety battle was probably with the fifth receiver job, the biggest talking point all fall. How do you replace Xavier Watts? Bring in Jalen Stroman from Virginia Tech. Slow to get going, but has since come on late and is probably going to start now. Luke Talich and Tay Johnson finding their way in at some point. Rotations. I don't know. Talich down the goal line would be nice. He can really hit, but he's not very fast. Then James Rendell and Noah Burnett. Kicker, punter. Oh, Eric Schmidt probably kicking off because Burnett can't kick very far. So there you have it. Went longer on the quarterbacks than I wanted to, but
Yeah, on that, I'm still hoping Angeli comes back. I think it's going to be 2. Is this the most convoluted, not to keep harping on the quarterbacks, but that it's been – I'm looking at a game now that I vividly remember watching between Georgia Tech and Notre Dame on September 1st, 2007 that featured, if you can get it, maybe a fun trivia question. Who
well, that
was
was
the starter?
on in 07, Georgia Tech blew out Notre Dame.
Yes. Do you remember who the starting quarterback for Notre Dame was in that game?
Was week 2 the Penn State game?
Yes.
It was a little bit later that year. Was it week 2?
I
So,
thought it was week 2.
Week 2
It was week 2. Yeah.
Week 2 was Clausen's first start. So who started over Clausen week 1 in 07?
I have a guess.
Who's your guess?
Oh, I had a guess.
Dane Christ was a few years later.
It's not Lavecchio, was it?
Oh, no, that's
No.
now you're like, you guys need to merge your years.
It wasn't
07 starter that Clausen started for.
This gentleman did not end his career as a Notre Dame Fighting Irish player nor quarterback at all.
Who was it?
Demetrius Jones,
Oh,
who ended his career as a linebacker for Brian Kelly at the University of Cincinnati.
wow.
That's right.
Maybe he's the one that recommended. Maybe he recommended
forget?
Brian to the Notre Dame brass. He said, "This is the guy for you guys.
This is the guy for you.
This is the
Maybe
guy
that could be the. Who
It
knows
was
what
a
would have
mistake.
happened?
He's the broker. He was the middleman.
You knew Chuck Weiss was smoke and mirrors.
Finishing up, just going over the schedule. It comes down to the first
Schedule,
2
yes.
games, I guess. And then you just got to wait for the Marcus Freeman landmine in there.
Will it come?
Will it come? Purdue.
That
Purdue
would
looking
be,
for some revenge.
that would be something. I mean,
Are you worried about that Arkansas spot?
no, that I heard the other day that
last stand.
Pittman went to the school and said, "Hey, I'll take half my buyout and walk away right now." And Pittman's agent said no. And then Petrino was getting in a fight with the DC. Like, he said, like, "Hey, let's go." Like, they were actually going to fight on the practice field. That team is an absolute mess.
I like it. Circling
Sounds
the
like
wagon. I think they're putting out the smoke to throw people off the scent.
it.
Could be. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll obviously go over all the games this year, but yeah, there's some landmines here with Boise at Pitt.
At Stanford.
Are you planning on going to that AY? I guess depending on how the season's going.
Yeah, I think that's going to be we'll see how the trip to BC goes. After that, I got 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Um,
I think Ott has to do the coin toss for that game.
I would. I mean, yeah, if the season's going well, I'd like to go out.
Noted. Just curious.
Yeah.
Are you scared of the ghosts in Hard Rock and Notre Dame's track record down there in Miami?
In the Beck.
Not just I'm not just talking 2017. I'm going back to the 80s now. I think they were like 0-7 in their last trips down there, and a lot of them bad.
I mean, I think Notre Dame's better at pretty much every position. I know they have, Ruben Payne and a great tackle. Like that
Their line, their offensive line should be really good.
Yeah. They're good offensive line, and I mean their weakness is their secondary. We'll get into this week 1, but their secondary is their weakness, and Notre Dame might not be able to throw the ball.
True.
But I mean, am I worried about Beck and brand new receiving core? Get some pressure on him, light him up. I think
Notre Dame getting comfortable, looking to set some roots, some bookends to the season here in Hard Rock.
Would be a nice springboard, yeah. Are we going to go over what's your, I guess, long-term outlook for this team? I'll say this.
I mean, it's front-loaded. It's a difficult schedule up front. Not great for breaking in the quarterback, but
some runway would be nice.
Yeah, it's. I mean, if they can make it through with one scathing, I think they'd be very happy, especially given that second half. You can really work on whoever comes out of the quarterback race in the back half of the year and get them ready for the stretch run. You'd be ecstatic.
The holder position.
Yeah. Do you get in with 2 losses, you think? If they're the right people?
I guess I would have sat here last year and said,
I would think so.
I would have sat here last year and said yes, but I think going to the USC last year, I think it was pretty. I was like, no, they could not lose to USC. So I think it's too.
It's hard to say because you don't know.
Because at this time last year, Notre Dame was a 3.5-point favorite over Florida State, and that game closed.
That didn't hold.
That game closed at kickoff at like 27.
And they won by 50.
And they did, yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, I will go 10-2 for Notre Dame. And I think that gets them in, because there's no NIU on this, right?
There's a Boise.
Yeah.
Oh, they got a Purdue. Purdue is equivalent of NIU.
Purdue and Stanford might be the 2 worst Power 4 teams. And Arkansas, I'm telling you, Arkansas is not far behind. They're not that bad.
Jalen Green is nice.
Yeah.
My thoughts were, no one said this. I think I'm afraid to say it, but if this team went 8-4, I wouldn't be like. I'd be obviously let down, but like you could see the way this quarterback thing plays out, and Freeman slips up a game or 2, but then it's like, well, he's proven himself in these big games and he has the culture there set. Like you kind of just expect like a worse 9-3 and find a way with. I mean, there's talent everywhere, but
finding a way.
Yeah, I'm not as high on this team as I thought I was going to be. And I think the quarterback situation is the cause for it. So I'll say 10-2 because it's off-season Kool-Aid, but they could go 12-0.
Yeah.
Could also go 8-4, I think. So 10-2 right in the middle.
I think I'm seeing a 10-2. I think you could probably sneak it out there in Miami, and then I think you lose the Texas A&M game and the Southern Cal game. I am buying some Southern Cal stocks, so
no hell.
I'll go
That's a game they're not losing.
Lock it up.
Lincoln's trying to ride off in the sunset with this rivalry, man. He's trying to win and get out, take his ball home.
Yeah, he's made that clear, and Notre Dame's very clear about how they feel about it. All right, enough about Notre Dame. That went longer than I wanted it to. You guys go.
You weren't going to deep dive. You weren't going to dive too deeply there.
No, it's all about the quarterback. Everything else, Yeah, here's my 10-second finale.
Mhm.
Comes down to the quarterback for Notre Dame. Everywhere else, I feel really good about. And I think the defense. I didn't mention Chris Ash, new DC.
That was that's right. He was my picture for.
I feel really good about the defense. I like the line, and when you have a healthy Jeremiah Love, they can get him.
They
the
brought
ball.
him in to basically run the system Golden was running. They told him don't change anything, or is he installing something new?
No, he has said from day one he's not here to reinvent the wheel or change. He's like, this is Notre Dame's defense. I'm just gonna fine tune what I can.
Yeah, well, it's a nice transition here because the big splashy headline for Penn State, right, was the new defensive coordinator who is actually going to be revamping things a lot. Penn State's got the talent on the defensive side, but it took him a little bit to get things going.
Oh no, there he is. Okay.
Oh yeah, I was hitting the fan.
He had to go.
You gotta go.
He macked out of there. Knowles at his previous stops has installed his defense. It is, relatively speaking, pretty different than what Manny's defense was, and then Allen came in and basically ran Manny's defense doing what Chris Ash did, right? And so with that huge price tag, all the headlines, Knowles is coming in here to run his show, and he will be installing this defense. I'll say, he's coming into a place that has a lot more talent. I won't say pure talent than Ohio State, but specifically speaking, when he came in, Ohio State's defense was in really bad shape, right? And there were some growing pains that first year. It does sound like he knows from his previous stops on installation. It does seem like he knows what to focus on and basically what not to bite off too much of here as he's installing a new one. And he's got a lot of great stuff to work with on the defensive side. I do have a couple of I don't want to call them nitpicks, but like points of concern that obviously 99% of college football would love to have, but there's a lot of they're rich person problems, I guess. First world problems when
Cadillac problems.
Yes, Cadillac problems. The depth on the defensive end and defensive tackle, I think, on the line is of concern to me. You've got Denai Dennis Sutton, who was a 5-star coming in and got some accolades and really did come on towards the end of last year. He had a nice pick in the playoff game against Notre Dame.
His arms were like 9 feet long.
Yeah, he is gargantuan, but he's also not in the same mold as an Abdul Carter or any of the past couple of big time defensive ends that Penn State's had. He's more of a power guy, and he's not going to blow by you like some of these past couple of guys, but or Chop Robinson, right? These guys that are extremely lightning fast off the edge. He's more of a bigger, strong side defensive end, and so you're not going to necessarily see I don't think the pass rushing acumen from him, but he's a really, really great piece there on the side. On the other end, they've liked what they've gotten out of Zariah Fisher, but again, he's torn his ACL a couple of times. He's lost seasons, and really, as a redshirt senior, this is everybody's fingers crossed that he's going to have a nice, successful, healthy, most importantly, senior season, go out with a bang. But aside from those two guys, the depth from proven production standpoint isn't there. There's been a ton of noise from a true freshman actually that just got on campus here in the summer in Chaz Coleman. It's been as effusive as I've ever heard James Franklin talking about a freshman, and not just a true freshman, but one that wasn't even here for the spring semester. He wasn't even here in January. He came in June and has flashed so much so that, you're hearing other seasoned veteran offensive tackles talk about his play. You're hearing James Franklin bring him up in interviews and saying, he's a really, really humble kid. He's, they ask each of the freshmen, what do you see yourself as, a green, yellow, or red guy when it comes to red shirting, right? Green light being you're 100% go. You're not red shirting. Yellow on the fence. Red, you're definitely red shirting, right? And he's like, I see myself as a yellow, a little not meek, but doesn't want to be too aggressive. And James flat out said, dude, you're not a yellow. You're not a yellow. And I've never heard him speak that way about any freshman, right? And much less one that came in this short of time on campus. So people were excited about him. Aside from him, the other freshman, Ivan Kemaju, was actually the other one that most people expected the defensive end would play as a true freshman as well. So maybe that's a product of the lack of depth there. Penn State lost Max Granville in the offseason to a torn ACL. I think it's an ACL. They won't say what exactly it was, but basically long-term injury while training at home. So he was the one that stepped in for Abdul Carter last year at the end of that Boise game and was planned to play if Abdul Carter wasn't able to. Obviously, he did play with half of a body again in the Orange Bowl, but Penn State was really excited about him. He's unfortunately lost for the season. So hopefully one of these young guys will be able to step up. You've got other guys like Jalen Harvey as well and other younger, not as proven talent, Xavier Gilliam, other defensive linemen that are going to be coming in, but a lot of unproven talent when you're talking about outside of the starters. Zane Durant, a preseason All-American, very excited about him. Another guy that's, that they use Donald as a comparison because he's an undersized defensive tackle, but honestly, he's even more undersized, I think, than him, but extremely slippery guy. I do think health will be paramount there on the defensive line at either position, tackle and at end. When it comes to linebackers, they are shifting more to 4-2-5, and we've seen more defenses do this, especially as things spread out more. But Knowles does run two linebackers for the most part. You got Tony Rojas and Dominic Luca, the walk-on, looking like they're going to be manning those ranks. But they've been pleasantly surprised with Murray Campbell, the North Carolina transfer. He's come in, and actually I think he's been ahead of where they were expecting him to be. He did play a lot, actually, at Carolina, but albeit, on a pretty dreadful defense when he was there.
I've heard from multiple sources, like outside of Penn State, about him. Like huge get.
Yeah, I think they were.
Belichick's pissed.
They were surprised by how fast he's picked stuff up. Fundamentally speaking, he has been a good tackler. He's played a lot of football, right, in his first couple of years. So they're excited about where he is. He's been pushing more time, and I know when they lost Tamir Robinson, he transferred in after the spring, went to USC for a nice chunk of change. They were hoping to backfill, and I think they were not expecting to get an upgrade because Tamir Robinson he had an injury as well that he'd been dealing with coming out of high school. He's changing positions, wasn't a natural linebacker, and I think he might have been looking for greener pastures, more playing time. And they brought Amari in, and it's turned out better than they could have expected. It's I think he's further along than Tamir was, and he's in the same class, which is great. And we'll see how that goes. They've also got Speck in there competing as well, and then Keon Wiley. Keon Wiley was supposed to play some last year, but ended up getting hurt, I believe. And so he's been coming back. Expect those guys to be the main guys at linebacker. Kerry Smith said that he's got potential All-American first-round draft pick on his hands there with A.J. Harris, the Georgia transfer. He's been really good. He immediately came in as a starter last year and had a great year, and they're expecting big things out of him again this year. Starting opposite him, they've got two corners that they think are going to play a lot. Elliott Washington, as well as Aldavian Collins, AC Collins, what they call Squirrel. I think those guys are going to split reps there, and even if one doesn't start, they're not. I think that they'll play a lot, and they've done that a lot throughout the years with their defensive backfield. And then they'll have the nickelback starter with Zion Tracy. The other big, I wouldn't call it concern, but an point of interest is how this safety room is going to shake out because Zakee Wheatley is locked down one of the safety spots. He was really the biggest ball hawk, I think, in that defensive backfield the last couple of years. Always the takeaway king throughout spring practice and whatnot and camp. But opposite him is where I'm really interested to see where who's going to come out on top. Dejon Lane played it last year as a freshman. Had some growing pains. King Mack, another guy that was expected to play a lot last year, transferred to Alabama, ended up transferring back this offseason. So he's kind of lost a year of development there when he left to the Crimson Tide. Those two were the expected, competitors for this position. But apparently Antoine Belgrave-Shorter, who was a less heralded guy that came out of Florida, he had a teammate that was more highly rated than him that came in, and he was kind of like an add-on. Nobody was really paying attention to him. He looks to be making a move here, and he could come out on top of the opposite safety. So we'll see how he goes. That his teammate has since transferred out. Actually, he the one that was more highly rated. So he went back to down south. I think he's at Georgia Tech now. But great to see Antoine Belgrave-Shorter rising up, and excited to see how that turns out. Obviously, expecting a lot of big things out of this defense because of, one, the history, right? No matter who has been at defensive coordinator for basically the entirety of James Franklin's tenure, going back to Brent Pry and even a little bit before that. You remember Shoop got a big raise when he went elsewhere. Penn State's had this defensive culture, and similar to what AY said about Notre Dame, I think it's something that Knowles knows the standard when he's coming in here. I certainly hope he's not trying to need to install should come with a backslide or a step back, right? But obviously it is a new system, and that's why I think Penn State's really lucky here with that basically 1 month of preseason ahead of the Oregon game to really get some live reps against. I won't say competition, but some moving targets that aren't themselves, and they can.
Dan's going to be napping until the end of September.
Oh yeah, they can really work on installing this new scheme, and they're working out obviously a lot of the new pieces on the offensive side. Which, you go over there, you'll see obviously the big hubbub was AY's much ballyhooed defensive backfield and their performance in their second to last game of the season. And what they were able to do with limiting Penn State's receivers to absolutely nothing. So Penn State, I'll say this, they were always very, very excited about Harrison Wallace. They liked what they had in Omari Evans from a speed perspective. What he had, you can't really teach, but all they really had him run were goes and deep posts, right? But Harrison Wallace was a loss. I do think if he was back, even with the three guys they brought in, I do think he would have probably been the number one receiver still, right? He's a good receiver. I expect him to have a good season down in Ole Miss, especially the way they play. But I think there were some issues there, especially when you've got enough blame to go around. The receivers a lot of times weren't getting the separation they needed. I think they probably a lot of them, or the two that left at least, probably felt that Drew wasn't helping them out enough, and that all the blame was falling on them. So I'm sure there's a lot that goes around in that passing game room. Needless to say, they're expecting a lot more, especially when you're going out and spending on these guys. The three of them, I think Trevor did actually get a pretty substantial deal. I know he bait all the waves in the offseason with what Fran was saying about $2 million or whatnot. I don't think he's getting paid nearly that much money, but they did go out and get these guys. Trevor,
I would hope not.
What's that?
I would hope he's not getting $2 million.
No, I don't think he's getting $2 million, but I do think he got a decent amount of money because you look at who he was looking at before. He's looking at Miami. Miami wanted him as well to come in for that. What's the little guy's name that went to Tennessee with Cam? Number 7.
Tate Martell.
No.
Who, from Miami?
Yeah. They wanted him for his role.
I should know this. I just did.
Restrepo. They wanted him to step right in for Restrepo.
Oh! I thought you meant Tennessee Volunteers.
Oh no, he went to Tennessee. Sorry, he went to the Titans with Cam.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't remember because I know they lost a transfer or two, but I didn't know it was Tennessee. Okay,
No. Sorry. Yes,
that makes sense.
Cross extremes here into the NFL pod. Devontae Ross, he's been dealing with an upper body injury. I think it's maybe shoulder or pec or something like that since the end of spring ball. He was in some type of a sling or something like that. So he's been not held out, but on a little bit of a pitch count in the first couple of weeks of fall camp. So again, blessed to have this nice ramp up to Oregon to work in a lot of these guys. Kyron Hudson they've liked, and he's I think probably going to be the number one receiver. He's a nice big body possession guy. We've seen him make some good contested catches. It's what Penn State has been missing. Guys that can go up and make those 50-50 balls more 75, 80, 20 balls, right? And then Trevor Pena will be able to jitterbug and make some noise, I think, after the catch. They like what they've gotten out of Kobe Howard, the freshman receiver, from that standpoint as well. So they've got a ton of bodies in there. You always hear it can't be worse than last year, right? 0 catches from the receivers in the national semifinal. I guess it could technically be worse, but I do expect these guys to take a step forward, and they're playing with and seem to have grown a nice rapport from Drew Aller. Drew Aller, for his part, it does seem like they are taking more shots down the field and be more aggressive from that standpoint, which may yield a few more interceptions. I think they're trying to fine-tune his, for lack of a better word, his risk tolerance. Obviously you remember his first year starting, he had 1 interception the whole year, and a lot of people are like, that may not be a good thing because he's literally just checking down every time. He's not believing in his receivers, which maybe he was right in that from that standpoint, but also he wasn't maybe as aggressive or arrogant about his arm strength. So they've been trying to unlock that from him. I don't need to go too far into the running game. The two backs, maybe the best 2-back or combo in the country. I know AY may beg to differ. He's got a great set of backs as well as a coach that knows both the sets of backs. So we'll see what he has to say over there.
I think as far as duos, I think I'd take Penn State's.
You take Penn State's. It's been good because they've really looked to hone, and this is all the off-season hubbub that you get. But with Sider going over to Notre Dame, you're bringing in a fresh set of eyes, somebody that maybe they reached a certain plateau with Sider, with the coaching for 3 years, that can a fresh set of eyes that come in here and teach them something that maybe they haven't been learning the last couple of years. They've been saying all the right things and excited to see where that goes. Also, this is the first year that both of them are healthy. They're not dealing with an injury going into the offseason and they've been able to have basically a full offseason of training to get better. Whereas I know at least for Katron Allen going into 2024, he was just trying to get back to where he was before because he had such an injury-riddled end of 2023. He was just basically trying to get back to where he was before. I'm excited to see those guys. They'll be running behind possibly the best line, one of the best lines in America, especially with Jagisaw out, right? You've got a left side that's solidified with Drew Shelton, Vanga Ione, who is a preseason All-American, and then Nick Dawkins, a 6-year senior. He's in there.
I have to ask before we go any further, since you mentioned him, is he going to be in motion again this year?
I don't believe
I hope so.
Because you're taking literally your best run blocker and just putting him in motion.
I need it at least once.
They had to do that. It went viral, and they just kept doing it. And by doing so, they took their best run blocker out of literally the center of the play. So I don't know.
They went from the T formation to that.
What are they breaking out this year? I'm excited. They have alluded to it in the practice reports. They've alluded to Kolnicki and his in the lab with his mad scientist hat on. The right side is very exciting and interesting. You've got Nolan Rucci, who came in after Donko got knocked out for the whole year last year at the back half of the year. I think it was Minnesota game. He got knocked out. It's funny. You're talking about November games and that being the back half of your year because of how long these seasons are stretching on now. But Nolan Rucci came in and the light switch went on. And then he's been actually pretty good. And everybody expected Donko to come back in and basically reassert himself and take that right tackle job right back. It seems like Rucci has really solidified himself there. And Donko may be fighting for some right guard reps. he's going to be a swing guy that I think is going to play both, right? Because he was in his own right very good at right tackle, and you got him there, and then a lot of other guys. You got Cooper Cousins, who everybody just assumed would come in and play as a sophomore. He's been really, really good in practice. He's going to be playing, but he's not starting. You've got Jamin Williams, who has seemed to take the next step, and then a host of other guys that Penn State could conceivably go 8 or 9 deep and really actually play a lot of those guys. I know they'll definitely play a lot of those guys in the first 4 weeks of the season. I'll be interested to see once that Oregon game comes around if they're going to tighten up that rotation and how much they're actually going to be shifting around. Obviously, Tyler Warren, a big loss. You're not going to replace his production, or hopefully they're not going to be needing that much production from the tight end room with the receivers they brought in, but not expecting too much of a drop off from the perspective that they've got a lot of good big bodies and experienced bodies. Khalil Dinkins, I don't think he got the credit he was due playing behind all these great tight ends the last couple of years, but he's more than serviceable. He'll probably be starting. And then you got Luke Reynolds that came in as a freshman, true freshman last year. Ratley is coming back from an injury, but Schlaffer looks to put on some weight. And then you got the freshman 5-star as well that's going to come in. He may not even be the one that plays out of that freshman class. Andrew Olish is the 5-star, but Kordovich, his freshman teammate or freshman classmate, has actually come in and maybe the one with the higher floor and maybe ready to go earlier. But again, they don't need to rush any of these guys along because of the depth that they've been able to cultivate in that tight end room. Obviously, the offense from the early reports came in a little bit ahead of the defense because they've got a second-year coordinator, whereas the defense is still installing, right? I think that defense has actually caught up a little bit. The last couple of reports haven't been as glowing with the offense, which I think they're still trying to work out. Again, I'm excited because we have the long runway, 1 month of preseason, that I'm expecting Penn State to play a ton of bodies. They're gonna really, really look to take those starters out by the beginning of the third quarter, basically, because they're expecting a long season this year. You got to save the hits. You got to save the run and tread on a lot of these guys' tires. If I'm looking at the schedule, we want to go there because the special teams is going to be just about the same as last year. You're going to be looking at, again, similar to what Penn State's had the last 10, 15 years, a 2-game schedule. Oh, I guess you could. I mean, a trip to Iowa.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I said it might not even be 2. I'm just kidding.
It might not even be
an Oregon joke.
There's more than 2 on here.
There are more than 2. If you're looking at the number 2 team in the country, I think there are more. You certainly have the potential for another at Minnesota or at USC scare, right?
AY's not getting off the Cignetti bandwagon.
He is not.
I'll take those 16 points right now.
Is that the look ahead line?
Yeah, that's the disrespect.
I'm not that impressed with them either, though.
AY does love Mendoza, though.
He does love Mendoza. I do think Penn State. I think will be on fire there, and like Grant said, 10 points.
10-point victory.
And at the end of it's up to 6.5 now. I think at the end of September. We're excited about that one. At UCLA, I could see that one being a little sleepy in their half-empty Rose Bowl.
That's good. Penn State's gonna win that game 40-0.
Wow.
Against the Bruins.
Oh, that team is hot garbage.
I like Deshaun.
And they did play better in the stretch and can't be overlooked. First-year offensive coordinator.
That's true.
That defense lost everything. They're gonna get absolute bulldozed week 1 against Tar. We'll save that for a week and a half. But you're just destroy Chuba and FIU and Nova. Just run through UCLA, Northwestern. Are you kidding?
That has all the makings of a 10-3 game at the half. That's good.
And you'll win 27-3.
Okay.
Okay, that's done.
Iowa. This one, I'm glad it's not at night This one's or I'm glad it shouldn't be at night. This one looks like it's going to be a big nooner.
That's where I'd be.
If it were at night, I would be worried. I'm much more worried. An 11 a.m. kick at Iowa. I am also going to have boots on the ground there. I'm visiting Radkoff out there.
I don't think you're not going to sleep as good as you normally do that Friday night.
No, I will be worried for it.
They got a great
I do
O-line.
think I do think Penn State will just lean on them for like a 10-point win though. There,
You mentioned D-line depth.
Yeah,
their O-line could lean on your D-line too.
That's true. It's true.
I mean, that's all they have. But I mean,
no, that's not true. They've got that guy from.
I like Gronowski. Yeah,
they got Gronowski slinging now.
Oh, and he can run. He might just
run it.
He might have turned.
How big is that guy? Oh, he's a bigger running. He's not like a little jitterbug. He's a bigger. He's like a Tebow kind of guy, right?
Yeah, he's like Riley. He's like Riley Leonard.
He's a Riley.
Here's the thing. I think when they won 31 zip a couple years ago, it is no longer a thing as much of it was a thing for a decade and a half with that team. When it comes to them playing Penn State.
Oh.
Because they beat them.
I felt like that. I think we went in 2021. Obviously, Clifford got hurt.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
That really is. I think I was just talking about, was it with you? I can't remember. It was either you or Greg, I think. Franklin's had some doozies. Every coach would in the time he's been there. That's probably still number one. How do you go into the season with that as your backup quarterback situation?
It's not good. And I think, when did Levis transfer?
I think that offseason, right?
Right. I don't know. It's not good.
Anyway,
at Ohio State, I think Penn State could take an L there. This is very standard. I think. Versus Indiana, I'll take it. Helmet stripe and military appreciation. The Army will be on our side. We'll beat Mendoza.
AY's taking the points.
AY's taking the points. I'll take the money line. Money line, Penn State.
All right, there's a nice middle there.
Nice middle. At Michigan State, I don't know. I'm not believing in Jonathan Smith, but
I want to. Just in general, I want to believe in him a little bit, just for.
But I feel like he could have, like, Aiden Childs has the talent to, like.
AY's been a believer, day one believer.
Like, out of nowhere, right? I don't think it'll be this game.
I think Childs. Yeah, I think Childs is gonna. I'm not saying for that Penn State game, but he's gonna have a game this year where it's like, whoa, this guy, this guy's ceiling is this high.
Well, I think we've seen it before, but then the next series he throws the dumbest pick in the world.
If he can put a full game together, I don't know who it'll be against, but
maybe by the end of November or something. By the end of November, something's clicking with him. He's been playing for a year and a half now, 2 years at that point, starting. Then you're in the Nebraska home finale. I don't know where they're going to be at, but I could see Daner, Raiola doing a little bit of shenanigans here and there, but I think Penn State will be able to out-talent them, and then Rutgers, I think they'll beat Chiano. I do think.
Will you be going?
I will be going. Hopefully Barb will be throwing his tailgate, but I don't know. I don't know if he will. They're cold. I'll probably have more tailgates to go to than any Rutgers alum I know, so I will be there. I'm going 11-1 regular season. I think Penn State gets a rematch win over Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game, and by virtue of that, be the number one seed in the playoffs.
I will go 11-1 as well, and I will save my Big Ten prediction for Tuesday.
Okay.
I will go 11-1 as well. I will save my Big Ten prediction. My only concerns, I guess this is kind of in line with what Cam was saying about the defense. Like, concerns here are very on a different level than it would be like if I was going over an Iowa team. The only concern here for Penn State really is, you alluded to a little bit, these road game flirtations. Last year, Minnesota, USC. It's a little bit Wisconsin. I know Aller.
That first half was gross.
I know Aller was dinged up, but still, I mean,
it was gross before he got.
Yeah, it was just a gross game. But I mean, the landmines here, like the only one would really be Iowa.
Iowa, yeah.
So I mean, I don't know.
Maybe I need to look closer at UCLA. I was like, I don't know. That could be weird.
Maybe I'm just
the cross country trip is never good, and then that stadium is going to have
after Oregon. I don't know. That was what I was looking at.
Rose Bowl will have 16,000.
Who knows? Maybe if they
11,000 of which will be Penn State fans.
If they knock off Tar, though, who knows? The people could be believing if they can get off to a 4-0 start.
And then all of Ali Ava's fans.
That's right. Maybe Roth will convert to being a UCLA fan.
Yeah, we'll have to ask him. I've actually gone back and forth. I've gone back and forth on the Oregon-Ohio State split. First run through, I had Oregon winning at Penn State and Ohio State losing to Penn State.
That's not happening.
I'm not 100% sure Dante is going to be that good. I think he could be pretty good, but
he might not be. But
in an environment like that, I'm worried.
Oregon in Oregon's O line and D line are so nice.
But think about how much they lost on that defense.
They
lost a ton on that defense.
The back end is not.
They did lose some receivers, but obviously they got like the number one guy in the country. So he's got to come through for them. But and then they've
got top two receivers are Decory Moore and their tight end Kenyon Sadiq.
Yeah, Sadiq is nice.
No, I'm just talent wise, Oregon is still right there.
They've got the talent. I'm worried about Dante going into that type of an environment.
No, that's
cross country, but we'll see. We'll definitely see. He's a 5-star for a reason. Yeah. The lead up to that for them is interesting. They will be, I guess, somewhat battle tested. They play a rivalry game, right? They play Oregon State, and then they play in the unfriendly confines of the. I think they're playing on the lake against Northwestern at Northwestern.
Always tricky.
Always tricky. That's a 7,000 person stadium.
I think that when I reached that moment, that was my peak off season, just going through the schedules and be like, well, I could see this being flip flopped. Actually, I was looking for something new. My other concern would be Tyler Warren. I think his loss. I know it's being acknowledged and mentioned. Warren and Carter are gone. I think that is going to be a bigger loss. People are like, oh well, like 2 years ago he wasn't the focal point or anything, but last year he was everything.
I will say he became everything. I think as the season went along, which that definitely wasn't the plan going into the season, but as it evolved and he became so plainly the best player and best option on that offense, it did morph into that. I do think the tight ends that they have are very talented and by no means are they Tyler Warren, but I do think that they're basically they're good enough.
Does Drew Aller feel that way? Because
so that's the thing. He had that rapport and he had that comfortability with Tyler Warren, but again, he kind of grew into that as was the play calling, right? He had pretty good rapport as well with the receivers, Trey Wallace for one. But as everything shifted towards Tyler Warren, obviously it went that way. I think like Tyler Warren had a lot of screen passes and stuff like that. A lot of that will be run more for the receivers this year. As far as who Drew will look to, like as the number one, as if he needs a 3rd and 7 and who he's going to gun it into, I do think that he will still rely a lot on the tight ends for something as like a chain mover.
His numbers, Drew Aller's stats between the numbers are so much better than they are outside the numbers.
Mhm.
And I mean, that could coincide with Tyler Warren mainly running him between the numbers, or Aller up the seams is awesome. Outside leaves some to be desired. And yeah, Warren with the 3rd and 2 Wildcat stuff like that. The same thing
Yeah.
Notre Dame's looking to replace. Like, what are they going to do on 3rd and 2 now with
It's
no
true.
Leonard?
Yep.
Like, it's just, I mean, there are ways to do it. It's just, can you find it?
There's a lot of carries that were snaps that I'm not sure where is going to go with it. Specifically, those Warren ones, which were, in there, and they started going to that more than the Prabula ones. But the Prabula
Well, that's another thing too. Like,
Warren package of running plays, I'm interested to see where those
Yeah.
snaps go.
yeah, that was the last point with Bo. I know
Yeah.
he didn't play a ton, but he had packages, he had moments, he had.
And I think the indications are with Drew slimming down a little bit. He's 10 pounds lighter. That I don't think that they're going to run him like they ran Riley Lenhard, but the indications are that they're going to have him run more this year.
That's definitely a way
because Kotelnicki, that all of his systems have relied on a running quarterback, and obviously last year they brought Bo in for that. I think they're going to actually try to do more of what he's looking for in his system from his quarterbacks this year.
Okay. Let's go on to the team coached by the Pitt coach.
That's right.
Coached by my rehearsal dinner maitre d'.
Maitre d', yeah.
Manager. Elliot.
What was his name again?
Elliot.
That's right. This is a preview that is diving into the shallow end. I do not have a ton to say whatsoever. How could you, with the bizarre season that was 2024 for Pitt football, starting off 7-0, finishing 7-6 with one of the weirdest, and that is saying something, one of the weirdest bowl games of all time. A 48-46, 6 overtime loss to Toledo, which myself not included. I feel like my fellow Pitt brethren have to wear this one, is payback for the joking about Penn State's, whatever it was, numerous overtime loss to Illinois. And the worm had to turn at some point, and it certainly did with that game. So, yeah, I mean, it was probably, one of 2 or 3 more games than they should have to start the season, and then lost 2 or 3 games, probably as more like 1 or 2 that they shouldn't have lost down the stretch. So with that said, not much of a question here in the first position group at quarterback. Eli and Holstein did end up staying. I think there was already a GoFundMe being prepared when they were 7-0, as fear that he would transfer to somewhere else. That was not required nearly as much at season's end. But he'll be the quarterback. And then at running back, the other, I guess, good keep. I guess we can say those. Has anyone used that yet with the transient transfer portal era?
I really haven't heard. It's all everyone just says just retain, but
yeah, good retention. And Desmond Reed at running back, and I'm looking. This is where I'm referencing our lads, which I
was on that as well for my depth chart.
Yeah, checkered history. It looks like this is updated as of August 4th, 2025. But right now it's got Juelz Goff, Derek Davis, who scored the game-winning touchdown against West Virginia.
He's out for the year, isn't he? Or he's done?
There it is, exactly. That's why our lads has a checker pass. I did not know that.
He's the gateway product, LSU transfer.
Exactly, yeah. So let's see. Derek Davis Pitt
running back
on the fly correction to 2025 season. Well, that's interesting. That was as of end of July. So real bad job by our lads on that one. So take whatever the rest of this preview is with a grain of salt on that notice. Kenny Johnson, also a good retention. This is my favorite part of my preview. They have a Louisville transfer by the name of Kataris Hicks, I believe. He had 13 catches for 160 yards in his career before transferring. Would you like to know how many of those receptions and yards came against Pitt?
100% of them.
six catches for 63 yards against Pitt in the lopsided contest where I did have to eat crow because the show shoved
gotcha.
it down my throat.
He did. So Pitt liked what they saw. Pitt liked what they saw.
I think that's the only conclusion you can draw from that decision. And then Poppy Williams, also known as Raphael Williams, he had transferred in last year. Sincerely, Deuce Spann. I'm trying to see. His name sounds familiar. Where's he from? Let's take a look here. I didn't go on the too deep. Florida State and Illinois. Not a lot of burn, though, in his time at those schools. So I'm trying. I don't think he was there last year. And on the offensive line, they did get some transfer help on the left side with Jeff Percy, and then this guy, I haven't heard his name pronounced yet, from Richmond, Keith Govia. We're going to go with for now. And then Gofia. These other guys, when healthy, racked up a ton of starts so far. Lyndon Cooper, B.J. Williams, and Ryan Baer.
You talk about your All-Americans. You had more All-Americans, I think, or preseason All-Americans.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Combined.
Yeah. Holstein, Desmond Reed, and that would be a gentleman I'll be getting to here momentarily when we flip over the defense. So I guess as far as I know, you rewind a year when we're talking about it, as far as the offense goes, I thought it was kind of funny that Pat Narduzzi finally, probably 2 years too late, decided, oh, yeah, maybe I should just let my offense be good. So they had,
instead of resting his defense?
Yeah, instead of resting his defense that was not great, at least against potent competition. So if you're not going to be good against potent competition, who the hell cares? But yeah, so it was an interesting, like anything else would be the common theme. Interesting season for the offense, but I'm hoping, as always, when it comes to a not so rich talent group, and Pitt would find themselves with probably 30 other programs in that category, the continuity will help make up the deficit for some of the undermanned talent, and we'll go from there. But certainly wasn't disaster, which I was glad about last season. On the defense, excuse me, Sean Fitzsimmons is back. He's probably certainly on the defensive front, the most noteworthy player. Looks like so you get some transfer help here as well from Blaine Spires, from by way of Utah State and Bowling Green. I think this might be the guy. I think he transferred one other place and then went to Pitt. It was one of those weird types where it's like, yeah, we're good, man. So he picked a smaller school, and then it was like, no, we're not good, man, anymore. And so he did the double transfer in a certain window.
He was on call.
He was on call. Exactly. He's one of those. Looks like Jimmy Scott is back. I remember him. I believe he was the one that had the big block punt against West Virginia. And then, I think just like 2 weeks ago, I was going over this with you. Elliot Donald has retired from football, and Pitt's had some misses, shall we say, as far as highly rated recruits, which has led me to my position. Unless you get almost all the good players, then who the hell cares? Because these guys are, a bit of a crapshoot in a vacuum.
The Woodley ones that they have gotten is, I feel like they haven't done well with. Right?
You think they haven't done well?
Yeah.
If you go back like
Devonshire turned out all right. Did Devonshire turn out all right when he came back?
Devonshire played, he played all right. As far as transfers, yes, but like obviously Tyler Boyd would be the one leading charge. Baldwin.
I'm talking about of recent years and trying to rationalize.
Yeah, I was going back 2 decades. Even Doran, Doran Dickerson, local radio legend nowadays, but he was.
I was talking more definitely for the current state of affairs and why they might be missing on so many people. Much to Carl's chagrin, I've seen. Yeah, that.
Carl certainly
not been happy about it.
Not happy, and couldn't have been happy about his Julian Duggar transfer to Washington State.
I've seen him and Han over that and how they let this guy walk out the building. He doesn't know how.
He said he came on the world famous Panther Layer podcast and said that he was going to be a star for Pitt.
Oh yeah.
To which I say, for 2 quarters in the aforementioned bowl game against Toledo, he was. But yeah, that one looks like, unless he boomerangs back, don't think that prediction is going to come to fruition. So linebacker is definitely the strong point from strongest group from, I would say, a considerable margin for this group. Kyle Lewis would be the other All-American that was waiting for me to get into. Also, Braylon Lovelace, and Rasheed Biles. Those guys are all back. And then the secondary, I don't remember this guy playing a ton last year. Tamon Lyman, and then certainly the safeties, Javon McIntyre, and Cruz Brookins, and Rashad Battle. I remember the rest of that secondary. But yeah, let me see where this guy. I think he was on the team last year, but I don't. Actually, 36 tackles. All right, maybe I stand corrected. He had transferred from Nebraska, so he must have played a little bit more as the season went on. And my enthusiasm and hype dwindled. Actually, come to think of it, he might have been the guy that missed the tackle on like the first big play of many that Smoo had against Pitt. I think he might have been. That might have been him actually. So hopefully he doesn't do that. Hopefully he doesn't play like a puss from the second snap of the game or whatever it was that Smoo went like 70 yards on. So into the specialists, we still have the Nepo punter who actually punted pretty well, Caleb Junko. He is the
Junko.
I think he's the grandson of frankly a Pitt institution in Bob Junko. Kicker, this guy is a transfer, James London, and he is from Murray State, the Cradle of college kickers. And he looks like to be handling the place kicking and kickoff duties. Of course, all this subject to change. I have not dove too deeply at all into the Pitt specialists. So yeah, that's kind of a run through there. I was trying to see if there's anything else. I was really excited about that Kataris Hicks statistic that they were just infatuated by his his garbage time catches against Pitt in a 37-9 blowout. They said he's our guy. Let's get him in here. But no, hopefully it works out. And that is the one thing I think there was certainly concern when I was doing the preview last year about these guys that. Oh God, what the hell is our offensive coordinator's name again? I'm really rusty. Cade Bell. Cade Bell brought in from Western Carolina, and those guys obviously worked out pretty well. So I guess I'm a little bit less concerned about the eye for some of these guys that are coming and play meaningful snaps for this team, whereas everything was brand new last year. So I will go into the schedule now. And my God, if they lose to Duquesne, that would be
the city would burn.
I think they would be warned.
Joy and anger. Yeah. There's no way they lose to Duquesne.
Yeah, I know. There will always forever be the nightmare in my mind of them losing to Youngstown State. I think the circumstances surrounding this game are a little bit different. So, and that like a dozen Pitt players aren't suspended, and it's not a random 6:30 kickoff on ESPN3. But yeah, that's we'll put that in the win column for now. Central Michigan also, and that is the Mac attack, right? He is still there. No, he left.
He resigned.
He got fired.
He got resigned because of I think some of this
Shark Company
Stallion stuff.
I was not aware. So
the Stallions helping him against Michigan State.
Oh, I got you. Okay, that makes sense. Let me see what's next here. This guy is this guy they brought in. This could be interesting, actually. Matt Drinkle. He has been at Army. Are they going to go triple option up in Mount Pleasant? Let's see.
I don't know.
He was the co-OC. He had the rare demotion from co-OC to just O-line coach last season at Army.
Focusing duties.
Well, wasn't it? It was 2 years ago. Army went to the spread.
Was it them or Navy?
Army. So he was probably brought in to help out with the spread. Then they sacked it going into last year.
Ah.
So then when they sacked his spread, they said, hey, we don't want to fire you, but you can coach O-line.
Team is this is the Gemini AI overview, and then I promise everyone we will get it on from Central Michigan's offensive scheme for 2025. The team is aiming to improve its rushing attack, which was inconsistent last season, and develop a more effective passing game. Okay.
There it
so
is.
We'll see. Tune in. You'll have no choice but to tune in at noon on ESPNU.
No choice.
No choice. And then we got the Rich Rod, the much anticipated 9-13 return of Rich Rod to the Backyard Brawl rivalry, and
I cannot wait for that game.
I have no idea what to expect.
I don't either.
Is anybody? I know Donaldson. I pointed this out not too long ago. Donaldson transferred.
He's
Yeah.
Ohio State. They still got. I mean, they got Jaheim White, probably Martial at quarterback. I don't know what they're gonna do.
Markiel.
Markio. I don't know what they're gonna do. I'm excited.
So they brought in transfer. Oh, this guy. I feel like this guy played. Did he play at all? Jalen Henderson. Let's see here. Did he play at A&M at all? Yeah, he started. There it is. He started the 2013 or 2023's Texas Bowl. I knew I'd recognize his name.
Wow.
From because was this the guy they were like is going to be the Heisman, or is that Reed at A&M?
Reed.
I think it was Reed, right?
Yeah.
So anyway,
or Kenny Hill.
Kenny Trill. It was an amazing start.
It was.
They also have a Max Brown. I don't know. I mean, I would think. Do we have a look ahead line on that game?
I saw Pitt was a slight favorite.
That's what I was just gonna say. I would guess Pitt was like a 2.5 point favorite. So yeah, we'll get into optimistic mode. I guess be 3-0 into the bye week with Louisville and the butt chin on deck. Probably split those. Yeah, I would say. Yeah, I'll confidently predict a split between those two home games back to back. At Florida State, I mean, is Norvell going to be done? That's the question that will be on everyone's mind.
I mean, he'll be in the sidelines. They can't fire him.
They cannot fire him with that money unless they got all of the Saudi oil money.
Right, exactly.
Unless they got all of it.
I will. Yeah, I'll tell you. All right, so I will not have Pitt winning that game, whether Norvell is present on the sidelines or not. So that 4-2. This would be a tricky one. I would say this would be a pivotal game between 8 or 9 wins and then 6-6, 7-5 at the Qs. Who they bring in. We know we already talked about the receiver that Can Pilford. Let's see. McCord is gone, obviously.
They've got a 5-star over there, I think, at receiver.
How can I forget? I joked about this at the beginning of the podcast. Angeli.
Oh yeah, they have Angeli.
Yeah.
I think they have the 5-star that transferred from Texas to Washington, and that was at Cuse.
Interesting.
Jonte Cook is at Syracuse now. Apparently, is doing all right.
Well, Syracuse could be. They could have one win going into that game. That schedule is just ridiculous.
What, did Angeli get hurt in fall camp already or something? Because otherwise,
they have a hard schedule. That 9 wins they got last year was mortgaged.
They open up with
schedule.
Open up with Tennessee, Con, Colgate, Clemson, Duke, SMU, then Pitt.
All right.
I'm
putting it as a loss, actually.
If Fran gets 7 wins this season, he might be getting an SEC job.
There's a 0% chance they win 7 games.
That's what they're saying. If he wins 7 games, he's getting an SEC job.
I'll bet my mortgage they don't go bowling.
If he gets 7 wins, will he be coaching Arkansas next year?
Yeah. Sure, but he's not getting 7.
Well, I think they go down. So you have to find unless you're believing in Mora, 2 more wins there to get to 5 and 7. All right, home for NC State. I think they'll bounce back in that one. That's 5 and 3. Trip to the tree. Just
6 and 3.
6 and 3. Yeah. We did not mention that live, but yes, the tree is receiving points at Hawaii.
Tree is charging up the Death Star for their final game of the season.
Exactly. 6 and 3, and then this is a real. I mean, talk about a tough way to finish. It's home for the Irish off a bye. AY might be there depending on how the season's going. I think they'll drop that one, and then an especially bullish Brendan, who had the privilege of attending my wedding and attending the DC reunion because he lived there and is part of it. He is especially bullish on the Tech. and Van Danberg. I think they drop that as well. We're 6-5, and then what is going to be left of Miami at that point? That's I think there's your difference between 6-6 and 7-5.
There it is.
How about I leave that one open? Actually, isn't there over under 6.5 Pitts?
I don't know.
I think I have the ACC in the sheet. Let me check.
Okay, yeah, let's see here. Win totals.
Looks like my copy paste copied
Unless
over.
you have a Holy Try section. There it
No,
is.
I must have
Got him the
copied.
Big Ten.
Oh,
5.5 it is. Over heavy juice on the over 5.5. So we're already at that over under. I'll still though have a weird performance and win that one. So I'll go 7-5. Screw it.
Optimism.
A huge. Beck's gonna be opting out of the season by that game. And they finished. Miami finishes 8-4.
yeah, I see at least 6 wins here.
Yeah. It's. I mean,
I could see upwards of. I could see upwards of 10.
oh gosh. Well, 10 is. They start out. Golly.
If
8-1.
you start out with one loss going to Notre Dame,
Yeah.
get by Notre Dame and split the last 2, that's 10-2.
That's the path right there. And that's a lot of.
And that'd be one. Be if you have one of those is to West Virginia.
We haven't been in that scenario actually 10 years ago.
If you go 9-3 but lose to Notre Dame and West Virginia, that's Charlotte
tough.
bound.
Charlotte. Holy Try tie is on Pitt.
That's right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they actually released that preview yet, where he actually officially stakes the claim.
Yeah, they've. I think
I have
that
to
was
see what he's
3-4 weeks
see
ago.
what he's saying about that one. I will.
They finished up the SEC last week. That was the last.
He is driving the Pitt bus.
Oh yeah.
I have to see how he gets there. I don't.
He loves Holstein.
Obviously, like no injuries. Pitt cannot have any injuries. For one, which I guess you never really sit here and predict injuries, right? But they cannot have any. I mean, maybe. Yeah, it's that's some interesting calculus. I'll have to listen to what he has to say.
I'm going 6 wins for you.
Yeah, it's right. It's right on that. Well.
Above the 5.5 though. So.
Yeah, I'm trying.
We're all going over.
And then we are. Well, who's it? Notre Dame's 10.5, right?
Yeah.
And Penn State is 10.5 also, Cam?
Yes.
All right. And I don't know where this leaves the team in the program if they do go 7-5, by the way. I guess we'll have to see how bad the path is to it or how good it is. That's the obviously, as I've been out for, is that when they lost his 3 touchdown favorites to Georgia Tech 3 seasons ago? So.
I don't know what I'm doing with Pitt. I guess I'll give my final prediction in 2 days when I go through the schedule matrix.
Yep.
We'll see what kind of spots they find themselves in. First teams off by and such.
Yeah, they're bye. They get a bye after West Virginia and head into Notre Dame.
Oh, I think Notre Dame is Navy the game before Pitt too.
Tricky.
It's always the post.
Could be a look-ahead spot for the middies.
The post Navy letdown. No, last year it was Army before USC.
Yeah. All right.
We'll see. We'll get to that in November.
Look at this
Now we have-
latest headline. Sources: Big Ten ponders jump to 24 or 28 in CFP. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
24, 28, what?
24 or 28 in next CFB in CFP.
Yeah, that has
Disgusting
as expected not been received well from
from anybody.
many of the things.
Really, these are the biggest minds. This is the Big Ten.
Yeah, I said this to Roth and Danberg, but I'll say it to here. I'm sick of your commissioner, and I am finding myself turning into a 1-year SEC mouthpiece because I think the pendulum does swing back to the SEC this year.
There you have it.
There you have it.
Just going through it, the 11th SEC team, I think, versus the 11th Big Ten team is just it could be what Oklahoma or Auburn or Florida.
Yeah.
That'd be a really things would have gone awry for Florida, I think, if they're the 11th.
Yeah, some of these preseason rankings, though, I think are pretty screwy. We'll see.
Oh, I'm not even saying that. I just think. So they've got 4. And how many in a row here? 10, they've got 10 in the preseason. Top 25 SEC does.
So I guess 11th would be Auburn.
I guess so, yeah. So maybe it would be things going so awry for Florida. Take that back.
I can't wait for that Auburn Baylor game.
I can't wait to pick. I might pick against Scar every single game this year. I'm resuming that bit.
You know how I was driving for them end of last year. Well, I
love them.
I just ghostrided that whip.
Get out.
I could not be more out on Scar. Yes.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I did not like them either. I did not like them.
Just had a 6-week infatuation with him. They were 6-0 when I loved them. They just felt like they were just not good early on.
I just can't get that pass that Sellers threw against Alabama out of my head. It was not a football pass. It was a launch of some kind.
Look, the rest of that game though. Who was pissing me off?
Oh, Milrow, zero awareness.
Zero awareness, Milrow. They look like Hackenberg back there.
Did you? Speaking of, I guess video game ratings. Did you get the new college football game yet?
No, I did not end up getting it. No.
I thought for sure you would have to confess, but
nope.
Maybe I'll double check with Gina.
Nay.
Make sure. You think she would know? Is she aware of your video game?
Grapplage.
Your grapplage, yeah.
She is. She seen me play Zelda.
There you go. All right.
Yeah. We're excited.
Okay, there's HT.
We're in game week now.
Game week. Shout out. I got to call ZP tonight, I think. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a hold of him.
We got some picks to make on Tuesday. We got game picks and season picks. A lot of picks, a lot of predictions. Tuesday, we're firing off picks. Fired up. Okay.
I will give a hint of really the only exciting prediction I have to make on Tuesday, at least as of now, unless something comes to me in the next 48 hours. I think there will be a second act from the last few years by one of the coaches we'll talk about.
Second act. You're talking Saban coming back.
not that drastic. Yeah.
Okay. Good
Trailer.
preview. Good teaser right there.
I said back on July 16th, I sent to the guys at home something about college football, and I said these two teams will be in the championship game.
All right.
That was 1 month and 1 day ago, and I have not strayed. So in 2 days, yes, I will.
Man, I don't even know who the heck. Man, did we actually give? Yeah, we gave a national championship. Never mind.
Oh yeah, we did it. Yeah, we're we had our top 12, and we graded them. We actually did fairly decent. We'll see how we do this year.
I had Florida State in my top 12 last year.
Yeah, it's fine. I think Dan had Michigan, I think.
I did. Yeah, but
Sure.
Tara was the one. I mean, our Big 12 picks were atrocious.
Oh yeah, I mean, everyone's they didn't even do a media poll this year. I think I do have my Big 12 champ. Well, we'll see if you guys like it.
2 of us had Okie State in there. Oh man,
They didn't even win a game in conference.
this is worse than I remember.
Let me see here.
I think
We all did have over 50% of the field in.
I had LSU. I think. Yeah, gross.
Playoff predictions. Look at that.
I still think you guys took the easy way out putting Boise in there.
It was the right way, though.
They were the 3 seed. Right? Yeah, 3 seed.
Florida State. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Oklahoma State's. I mean, that's really bad. At least with Michigan, I can say they have the transitive national championship.
It's true.
Yeah, you do have that.
The Florida State is bad. That's the worst.
Yeah, barely edges out Okie State.
That's the worst.
Well, I'm excited to see who we give the curse to this year.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back on Tuesday. Thanks for listening and watching. We'll see you then from AY, coming to you from the beautiful state capital, the rest of the Commonwealth, Pennsylvania, to my west, Dieberg.
Good night, all.
And Can to my east.
Good night, all.
Have a good night. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.